Great day, grade 4 students. Once again, let's have a scientific day with Miss Shara. Let's read our learning targets for today. First, I can observe, identify, and describe different types of local weather. I can describe different weather instruments. Now let us read our work plan. First, science bits. Review on effects of water cycle. Discussion on weather and weather instruments. You'll have your activity on weather and then thumbs in. Now let's have a bit about science. The first picture that I will show you is the sandstorms. Sandstorms can swallow up the entire cities. Next one, did you know that about 2,000 thunderstorms rain down on Earth every minute? How about this one? In July 2001, the rainfall in Kerala, India, was blood red. So blood rain or red rain is a phenomenon in which blood is perceived to fall from the sky in the form of rain. There is now a scientific consensus that the blood rain phenomenon is caused by aerial spores of green microalgae. It is called Trentepolia annulata. Wow, so those are the 3 bits about science. The sandstorm, the lightnings, and the blood rains. So now let's go to our recall. Let us review the effects of water cycle that we have discussed last time. The advantages from the water cycle are the Earth's population doesn't have to produce any more water than what we already have because we use the same water. So it provides water for our population, animals, and plants. It provides fish to eat, habitat, and so on. So evaporation and infiltration help to remove impurities from water. It also regulates our planet's temperature. How about the negative effect? Right, so at the local level, the land becomes drier and less stable. When it rains, instead of the water being soaked up, there is increased runoff and leaching. So areas can become more prone to both droughts and flooding, impacting on plants and animals and also humans living near deforested areas. So the negative effect of water cycle, when it's too little, we have droughts. When it's too much, there are floodings. Let's also go back to the water cycle. The water cycle is powered from solar energy. The sun evaporates water from the entire earth. 86% of the evaporation on earth comes from the oceans. Evaporation cools the atmosphere and planets. The water cycle involves the evaporation, condensation, and precipitation of water, and all of these events shape the weather on a day-to-day basis. Evaporation and precipitation are ways in which water moves through the water cycle on any given day during a weather event. Okay, so the water cycle takes the water and moves it up and down all throughout the earth, and it affects both climate and weather. On that note, let us look at the 3 essential questions. What is weather? What are the various types of weather? What are the different weather instruments? Right, so let us start. Okay, let me ask you something. Can you look at the window or can you go outside and look and see how's the weather? Is it sunny? Is it rainy? Or is it cloudy? So how's the weather? How is the weather? Weather. Weather refers to a day-to-day temperature and precipitation activity. Weather begins with the sun. We like to say that the sun is where it all begins because it drives every aspect of weather. Weather systems start because the sun's energy heats up some parts of Earth more than others. The sun warms our seas, steers our atmospheres, generates our weather, and gives energy to the growing green plants that provide the food and oxygen for life on Earth. Okay, now how's the weather? So if you will look at the picture, what clues did you observe to know what is the weather? Right? So in this one, the weather is usually warm or hot. So what type of weather do we have? We have a sunny weather. How about on this one? What clues can you find? So there's a lot of clouds. So how is the weather? The entire sky is covered by clouds. So what type of weather do we have? It's a cloudy day. How about on this one? So what type of weather do we have? You can see the windmill moving. So what kind of clues can you see? Right, so this one, when the wind is blowing a lot, we can say that this is a windy day. How about this one? What clues did you observe? You can barely see due to fog. That is a thick cloud, usually near the ground. Fog is a cloud that touches the ground. Fog can be thin or thick, meaning people have difficulty seeing through it. In some conditions, fog can be so thick that it makes passing cars, even monuments like London Bridge in London, England, or the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, California, are almost impossible to see due to thick fog. So what type of day do we have? We have a foggy day. How about this one? So when you look out, what are the clues that can tell you what type of weather do we have? Correct, there are falling snows. So snow is made up of many tiny pieces of ice that falls from the sky. So these ice pieces forms in the clouds. Clouds are made of water, drops, and ice crystals. So clouds form from water vapor in the air. When warm water vapor cools, it forms a drops of water. If it's very cold, then it can form into ice crystals. Sometimes some of the ice crystals fall from the sky. When the air they are falling through is warm, the ice crystals melt and fall to earth as rain. But if it's too cold, then the water will fall as snow. So what type of weather do we have? Correct, it's a snowy weather. How about this one? So how is the weather? What type of weather do we have? There are waterfalls, okay, from the sky. Right, so today we have a rainy day. So when you see water falling from the sky, it is a rainy day. How about this one? When there is thunder and lightning together with the water falling from the sky. This is a stormy weather. If there is stormy weather, there are strong winds and heavy rain. So it was mentioned a while ago that the water cycle affects weather and climate. So we talk about weather, the different types of weather. But weather is not the same as climate. The difference between weather and climate is measure of time. Weather is what conditions of the atmosphere over a short period of time. And climate is how the atmosphere behaves over relatively long periods of time. So weather versus climate. Weather is short-term state of the atmosphere. Climate is the long-term pattern of weather. We talked a while ago that the types of weather can be rainy, stormy, snowy, and sunny. While climate is, we can say, tropical climate. So the temperature in weather can change within minutes or hours. Whereas in climate, the temperature can change within years or average weather over many years in one specific place. So weather is day-to-day information of the changes in the atmospheric condition in any area. Climate is statistical weather information that provides information about the average weather condition of a particular place over a long period of time. So climate is weather measured over a long period of time. In weather, you can change clothes for the day or prepare clothes for the day. Whereas in climates, those are the clothes that you put in a closet. Alright, so how do we measure weather? We measure weather using different types of instruments. So now, let's talk about weather instruments. The first instrument is weather thermometer. The weather thermometer measures air temperature. To forecast air temperature accurately, forecasters put the thermometer in a little house-like container. This container has openings on all sides to allow air to flow. The thermometer must be protected from the sun. So it tells us whether it is hot or cold. We have an anemometer. Anemometer. An anemometer is used to find out how fast the wind is blowing. One kind of anemometer is made up of 3 or 4 cups attached by cross rods on the top of a pole. As the wind hits the cups, they begin to spin. The harder the wind blows, the faster the cups spin. The anemometer has a speedometer. The speedometer measures wind speed in kilometers per hour. This one is barometer. The barometer measures air pressure in millibars. There are 2 types of barometers, the mercury barometer and the aneroid barometer. The mercury barometer is more exact than the aneroid barometer. However, because of its size and shape, the mercury barometer cannot be moved around. Most of the barometers that you see in homes are aneroid barometer. Evangelista Torricelli, an Italian scientist, made the first barometer in 1643. So barometer measures air pressure in millibars. It changes in air pressure signal the movement of high or low pressure areas of air. So let's look how the barometer works. The black indicator hand always points to the current air pressure. The gold or constant hand can be set to match the current barometric pressure. So change to high pressure means good weather is on the way. Change to low pressure means bad weather is on the way. Hey, how about this one? So this is what we call rain gauge. Rain gauge are thought to be the most ancient weather instruments, and they are believed to have been used in India more than 2,000 years ago. A rain gauge is really just a cylinder that catches rain. If an inch collects in the cylinder, it means an inch of rain has fallen. It's that simple. So you will just place it in an open space and measure the amount of rain. This one is a wind vane. So it determines the direction of the wind. So that's why you can see there the direction north, south, east, and west. So the arrow points in the direction from which the wind is blowing. Look at this one. This is what we call weather balloon. The weather balloon transmits or sends radio signals. These signals give information about the weather. A radio sound is attached to a balloon filled with helium gas. This balloon is then set free into the air, like that. So a transmitter on the radio sound sends the data back to tracking equipment on the ground every 1 to 2 seconds. By tracking the position of the radio sound, we can also calculate wind speed and wind direction. The radio sound is powered by a small battery. Okay, so let's do reflection time. Let's read this short quote. Wherever you go, no matter what the weather, always bring your own sunshine. So every day, there are different types of weather. It's not always a sunny day, but we can make it a sunny day. So let's just bring a sunshine in our hearts. So that means being sunny. Have a happy heart. Bring your happiness every day. Whether it's a stormy, a snowy, a rainy day, or a foggy day. Right, so let's go to Genyo and do your scientific activity. When you are done working with your scientific activity, answer thumbs it. Put a heart if you learned a lot, if you learned some, and raise hand if you want to ask something. So thumbs up if you learned some. Well, so that's another scientific day with Miss Shara. We talk about different weather and weather instruments. So bring your own sunshine, whatever weather we have. We have a saying, every day is just weather. So thank you and stay safe, stay happy, and stay healthy. Bye everyone.